Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. We're back with an in-game analysis as England's biggest recent rivalry between Liverpool and City, Pep and Klopp, took centre stage. In a match where Liverpool had already secured the title, City showed some of their old form with a 4-0 win thanks to De Bruyne, Sterling, Foden and an Oxlade-Chamberlain own goal. And no doubt Pep would have used it as a chance to assess their level ahead of their Champions League run. The XG indicated it was a deserved win for the citizens, but what tactics did both managers use? Let's take a look. A quick reminder of the formations. Pep lined up in the following 4-3-3. Klopp also stuck to his preferred 4-3-3, although of course both teams were fluid. Let's start with what City looked to do in possession. Well, in possession, City only used a 4-3-3 in name, as De Bruyne pushed high, playing in a free role just behind Jesus throughout the match. But when building up from the goal kick, City tended to spread their centre-backs to the width of the box, which would allow the full-backs higher. Liverpool's front three were looking to press narrow in this phase, cutting off the wide passes, so if City had maintained this shape, the ball would have been easily intercepted. So, Gundogan often dropped alongside Ederson, as if a centre-back did this, it would mean a full-back staying deeper, meaning one less outlet for City. Once the ball was active, the goal was to draw one of the front three, usually a wide man, as Firmino tended to stay on the pivot, and subsequently played into Rodri, who under pressure would then look to play to the now free centre-back. However, it should be noted that at times, Liverpool's press was fairly effective high up the pitch. This often happened when they pushed their midfield high to support the press to cover the forwards when they pressed and the City pivots. On more than one occasion, they were able to win the ball high up the pitch and attack the space left by City's build-up shape, but often lacked the killer touch. But pushing the midfield so high did present problems, as Jesus would often drop deeper into the space, and if the ball was threaded through into him or De Bruyne, it would mean that City were quickly running straight at the back four. We see shades of this in Sterling's goal. Mendy wins the ball deep, and Liverpool's wide central midfielders are high, with Fabinho looking to press. Gundogan gets the ball, and the lack of ball-side Liverpool midfielders means Robertson jumps out of position, and the pass into Jesus, then Foden, means City are running straight at the back line. Higher up the pitch, City were dependent on Gundogan and Rodri to dominate the ball against the three, as De Bruyne was high up. It should also be noted, Liverpool didn't press throughout the whole match, as shown by their high passes per defensive action. In contrast to the deep role De Bruyne played in his last match, he was essentially a second striker as shown by his reduced involvement deep and only 21 passes in the match. But the use of Foden meant that he often drifted central to assist the midfielder as shown by his average position. This then allowed Walker to be much more involved in overlapping than usual. This also meant that City could keep men central, between the lines, to draw markers and also to create from here, as well as support the wide men when necessary. We see shades of this in Foden's goal. Foden moves in central with De Bruyne between the lines. An unmarked Foden draws Robertson, and after the 1-2, Foden scores. However, this shape did have its drawbacks, as time and again when Walker was caught high, Liverpool looked for a quick transition behind him through Mane, who got into good areas in this way. Now, let's take a closer look at how Liverpool looked to attack. When Liverpool had the ball deep, City looked to defend in a 4-4-2 mid to high block with De Bruyne right up alongside Jesus. Liverpool would then shift to a back three to have a man advantage with a full-back or one of the central midfielders dropping deep. Firmino could at times look to join the midfield to give Liverpool the advantage here, as well as draw the City centre-backs higher. And when City did use this high line, one of Liverpool's major attacking strategies was having their wingers make diagonal runs behind the full-backs with the centre-backs launching the ball long, with Van Dijk and Gomez attempting over 20 long balls between them. This did lead to several half chances for Liverpool from both sides. But in more controlled phases, Liverpool often looked to overload the right-hand side with Trent, Salah and Henderson, which often caused City to shift across. But this often gave Salah the freedom to move central, with one of them providing the width, and Firmino could choose to stay high alongside Salah or drop deep, and they did create chances in this manner. But from here, they could switch the ball to Robertson to have the cross. And in fact, they often did this on both sides, with the three forwards attacking the box whilst the fullbacks looked to provide the crosses, as they attempted a joint team-high 5 crosses each. But on the transition, De Bruyne would look for the space vacated by the fullback on either side, and often look to drive the ball up the pitch before releasing a fallow forward. We see shades of this in the Oxlade-Chamberlain own goal, as from the counter from the corner, De Bruyne moves into the space and then picks out the perfect pass to Sterling. And unsurprisingly, De Bruyne was the key man in this match, constantly finding pockets of space both in central regions as well as out wide, leading to a goal and an assist, and he probably should have had another. Overall, Pep will be happy with his team's performance and hope to carry this form into cup matches. But what other tactics did you notice? Drop them down in the comments below.